Women, are if you are in your this is the one regret that I have in my life, that when I was in my teens and 20s, that affected my entire life up until today, my decisions, who I married, who I dated, my money, my jobs, everything. And I want to share that with you now because I don't want my pain to not have a purpose. And I know it may sound shallow, but I regret that in my teens and 20s that I was morbidly obese. I regret and I hate that exercise was not a priority for me. Um, at my heaviest weight, when I was in my early 30s, I got up to 318 pounds. Now I'm 5'9", but still, that was a lot of weight on me. And so let's start from the beginning, okay? Because this weight journey, it has played so much in my life till my master's thesis. I decided that the title of it was the self perception of obesity and how it affects job satisfaction, life satisfaction, and self esteem. Because my weight was my every thinking moment, every moment of my life. When you're overweight, 75, 100 plus pounds overweight, your weight smacks you in your face. Like that's all you see. Why? Because people remind you, oh, you have such a pretty face. The rejection I got, it just compounded. I think in this society, to be a fat woman, especially a fat black woman, is the people treat you as if you have, they'll accept a murderer if she's beautiful over a fat black woman. And it's so true. I don't think that men, particularly some black men, don't understand the pain and that their rejection causes when you turn down a woman based on what she looks like. Especially when you young boys or men are in your teens and early 20s. Some of you all, as you all have gotten older, you all have gotten seasoned and you're more compassionate. So you may turn down a woman you're not sexually or physically attracted to because of her weight in a more modest and kinder way. But men in their teen, when I was a teenager, shit, it was devastating. So where do we start? Let's start from the beginning. Okay. In my household, with 3 girls and 3 boys, the boys were always very active in sports. We girls were like, instruments, piano, church stuff. We did do karate and I did do ballet, tap, and jazz, but it wasn't like I was a constant working out. Okay. And so we started ballet. My mother put all of us in ballet when we were 5, and we continued until our late teens, like maybe 17. And for me, it was mortifying because here I am, probably at the time, 50 pounds overweight, on stage in a leotard, dancing. And I'll never forget the one time when the curtain opened and I could just heard, snickering and laughing. I think I was like 16 at the time. And that's when I was like, Mom, I don't want to dance anymore. I just don't. I can't do this. But I hate that growing up in my household, it wasn't pushed. Exercise really wasn't on a continuous basis. And a lot of times we ate late at night. My mom, daddy worked a lot of jobs. It was 6 kids. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. And so many times we would eat very late at night. And if you eating at like 9 o'clock at night and you laying down on it, your body has no way to burn it. And so depending on your metabolism and your body chemistry, me and the people I come from, we get thicker. So my teen years, especially 17 and 18, you really want to you want boys to like you. And so I found ways to get boys to like me was to, just do little physical things with them. And of course, many of them weren't interested, but it was just more so who's going to turn down a hand job or a blow job, I mean, let's be 100 here. My first love, I'll call him MM. And he truly did love me. And I think that's why I fell so hard for him. I was 18 and he accepted me in all my heaviness and everything. But so that's why about 2.5 years later, after that relationship didn't work, I was devastated because he was like the first man to truly adore me. So let's move on up. So after high school, I went to Penn State for undergrad. And when my dad dropped me off at college, he says to me, most people say, enjoy college, but he's like, well, go to the gym, because they treat fat women on campus bad, And I was like, damn, he meant well, but still, all my life, I felt like my worth was wrapped up in my weight. And because I was fat, I had no worth, honestly. So that all that trauma, all that negative self-talk, all that stinking thinking affected everything. My mindset, what I thought I could do, who I was, everything. Okay, so listening to my dad, after my dad dropped me off at Penn State, one day I said, I'm going to go to the gym and exercise. And I'll never forget this. I went to the gym. I felt good about myself. I came back to my dorm. And at that time, you got to remember, I entered Penn State in 1989. Yeah. And so we had like a telephone. Do we have a telephone in our room? Yeah, we had a room telephone. And our phone number was our room number. So if it was like 412, that was our room number. So the phone rang in my bedroom, in my dorm room. I answered. I was like, hello. And a guy on the other end said, yeah, we saw your fat ass in the gym. You might as well not work out, your fat ass. And this was like the first week of school, so I didn't really know people. So I don't know who that was, but when I tell y'all that devastated me. And now that I'm older, I know that the enemy, Satan, used somebody to just keep beating me down so that I could not see the beauty in me, or it stifled me from continuing to press forward. So I just didn't. That whole freshman year, I just would eat. I ate, and probably gained 20, 30 more pounds. People gained the freshman 15, I gained the freshman 30. On top of the extra 50 something that I already had, okay? Fast forward, by my junior year, I had read this book called Help Lord, the Devil Wants Me Fat. I think that was the name of it, yeah. And it talked about how fasting can help break the stronghold of gluttony and all that. And so I fasted for like 10 days, and it really did work. Like after the 10th day, so I really didn't desire all that food. I was starting to exercise, and I lost probably 70 pounds. So when I came back my junior year, I was much thinner. And of course, I started getting attention from the men. Because hey, I do got a pretty face, and I got these beautiful lips, and I'm tall and curvaceous. I wasn't skinny, but I was, as y'all call it, thick, right? And so I started getting attention. And at first, I was a little flattered, but later on, I wasn't. Matter of fact, it made me angry. I was angry that, now that I have lost 70 pounds, I'm worthy of a man to open the door for me. I'm worthy of a man wanting to sit next to me in the cafeteria. I mean, you coming up to me, you look so nice. I was still the same Angela in my head and in my heart. It was just the body had changed. And see, for me, because for 18 to 19 years, I was so used to, I'm fat, you should need to lose weight, you got a pretty face, but you're too big, blah, blah, blah. People just snickering and grinning. So I couldn't even accept, I was so messed up mentally from the trauma of being fat, till I couldn't even see it as a way of that's just a compliment. So what did I do? I self-sabotaged. Subconsciously, I self-sabotaged myself. And maybe by 2 years later, I had gained all the weight back and then some. So by that time, now I was in graduate school. Now I went, to Gannon University to get my master's. And at that time, I was so messed up mentally when it came to food. I have suffered from bulimia, where I would binge and purge. Y'all, I would get food in my apartment. Like people from the church would bless me and buy me groceries because they knew I was a struggling graduate student. So some of the people would take me shopping and buy me groceries. And so I would cook the food, and I would feel so guilty for eating till I would throw all the food out of my refrigerator, out of my house, and be like, no, Angela, you got to fast for 10 days. You have to fast. And so the next day I'd wake up, I'd be hungry. I couldn't fast. I didn't fast. And so I'm beating myself up, telling myself I'm a failure because I didn't fast. And so what did I do? I would go to McDonald's. And at this time, they used to make like supersized stuff. I would order 2 supersized large fries, 2 supersized Big Macs, and eat it all in one sitting, and then order a huge Domino pizza and eat that whole thing too. And then feel like a piece of shit afterwards. It was a sick, constant cycle. It was horrible. And it went on, and I suffered in silence for many years. I'm going to move on. I'm going to stop the video because it's about to stop and move on to part 2. Follow on with me, y'all.